Be cool.
Yes. Good afternoon, troops, and welcome to Heroes and Generals Devstream episode 20, live from Copenhagen. I'm Reto Gargamel, and this is Reto Bradbjerne, our game director.
Out there.
Today we are going to talk about, what everybody's been asking about. What are we working on? I'm not gonna say. We're going to, but first, we're going to answer some questions that people had about more combat badges. Sorry, there's some descriptions, I think, as to the effect of combat badges that are a little bit ambiguous, and we're going to show you today the Ghillie and Camouflaged badges, what exactly they do. So if we can full screen that. Here on the wiki. That's our game wiki, by the way. If you haven't visited it, you can just type wiki.heroesandgenerals.com and it takes you to Gamepedia.
Yeah. And everybody can change
anybody can edit that. So if you have information that you think is missing and should be added, as long as it's like not imaginary things, has to be in the game.
But probably get changed back then.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody will put it back.
Yeah. Wiki war.
This badge, the Ghillie. People have, I think, kind of a false impression that this, it's a kind of cool one. Is this something to do with like a secret society or something with the pyramid?
I have to ask the art director who designed these badges.
What does it mean?
I like the skulls though. Skulls are always cool.
Yeah, skulls and pyramids.
You can always use skulls.
So this one,
and oak leaves. Skulls and oak leaves. Yeah.
Already drifting, man. It's like it's been 2 minutes. I think we have a record. So if you go back to the description, please. Bitte schön. Yes, it only says that you're good at ducking behind cover and you're only visible for so long. What it means, you're only spotted for so long. This is what it means. So when people complain, the spotting system is unfair, well, actually you have a way out if you earn this badge.
It's actually pretty effective. The gold one, only 1 second, and it's very fast.
So somebody spots you, they have to look at you for 3 seconds, and then the spotted triangle is only visible for this amount of time if you're wearing the Ghillie badge. Yeah. So at bronze level is 2 seconds, 7 seconds. Sorry. So and then 5 seconds, 1 second, and this. So you're not invisible. You're just invisible to the radar, but the players who don't directly see you. So. And the other badge, camouflage.
I think these are the ones that are great for the recon guys.
Yeah. They're easy to confuse, I think, right?
Yeah. I think the best one we have is obviously this one, the camouflaged badge.
It's true. You earn both the Ghillie badge and the camouflaged badge with the recon combat ribbon. So when you max it out, you get this one.
And obviously, we did have plans on modifying this one as well at some point. That's why we only have the gold version right now, because it's sort of like a binary thing. It switches on and off. What the camouflage badge does, it actually completely removes the kill cam, which a lot of players really like.
Yeah, I think some players don't even know it exists, so they get a little bit alarmed when they get killed and they don't see who got them. But you have this, and then again, for snipers, this is what you want. If you get to that level, you want to walk around with that.
I think we should actually at some point we are doing some update to some of the combat badges, not for the up and coming T build, but for one of the next builds, and we are looking into at some point broadening this one a little bit more. Like kill cam would only, you could modify the distance instead, so so you don't really see much.
It doesn't zoom in.
Yeah, we can find something in between.
Does it actually zoom in the kill cam as it is right now?
I think it just points to the direction. But I would imagine that the closer the camera is to the guy, the harder it is to figure out where he is, I would say.
Like if you're indoors. And,
but also if you get shot and the kill cam not only points to the direction, but also like you just cut and put the camera right in front of the shooter, you would sort of like have difficulty in figuring out where the spot is. It's easy to see if you have the line from where your guy is and to the shooter. If you just cut that line in half, it's going to be more difficult to actually figure out precisely where it is, I think. I'm not,
so you would actually make the camera move closer to the guy?
I think so. Yeah, but we've been talking about various ways to do this, but right now we only have the kill cam on and off, so that's why there's only a gold version of the Camouflaged Patch. Highly priced. It was really before we introduced the that's way back when we have a different. At one point we had a different ribbon system where the ribbons would be acting a lot more like achievements, and the combination of different ribbons would unlock a badge.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, but it was kind of unfair because at that time it was very hard to unlock this badge. And it just made the good players even better, which was sort of like going the opposite direction. So still think it's a great badge, but obviously the progression system has the idea behind it is that everybody should be able to unlock everything given enough time. Where the other system was more like the good players unlocked all the good stuff, which is not really it's not fun for all the other guys. So. I think the idea that good players just unlock stuff quicker is a better theme for the gameplay.
So that answers the badge questions.
Also our badges is actually some of the things that we have something that you can actually buy directly, just jumping in and if you don't have the time to play like 1,000 hours to unlock a certain weapon, you can buy it directly. But the combat badges you actually have to play to unlock. And we're probably gonna make it like that at some point. Or we're not gonna change that, I guess.
Yeah, no, because I mean that actually is kind of like the equalizing.
Yeah, I think that's you have to have some stuff in the game that you have to play to get, rather than just being able to buy everything. And I think that's some of the issues we face with this with the free-to-play business model is that we do need to like cater for both sides. There are a lot of players out there that doesn't really have that much time to play the game, who really wants it and want to try some of the fun stuff. So we think it's fair that they can buy themselves to some of the weapons. One other thing is that the weapon upgrades, the modifications, and those have to be unlocked as well. So you can sort of like buy your weapon platform, and then you have to play to expand the platform. So it's not purely just buy everything in the store, but you can get we are actually working on linking the ribbons a little bit more, so the progression will be deeper than it is now.
As in linking what?
Sort of like you have to have the medium tank ribbon before you can buy a heavy tank. So you're sort of like forced to go through the ribbon rather than just jumping straight to the Tiger 2. But right. It's still being discussed how we would do that. But I think that's one of our long-term goals is to have like more individual specialization on each weapon and vehicle.
I guess kind of like I was kind of reading my notes here. I didn't expect that we get into the whole philosophy of ribbons. So I'm like,
I think we need to.
Can I cut in and say they want to see the new stuff?
Do they want to see new stuff? Okay, because I can go on forever about this stuff.
He can. That's why I was kind of like.
Do you want to hear some more about the progression system?
But the what we're working on, let's put it that way. If you go
we have been talking a little bit the last couple of times about the strategy game, right? What we are.
Yeah. So
expanding a little bit.
We're going to go and look at the test server. Oh,
where are we? We are here.
Yep. So I guess you want to go and grab a few to the left arrow, I guess, and go find there, or maybe your German general. You grab your.
I need to go first.
Yeah, or they enter combat, I guess.
Need to pick science.
There you go.
Okay.
How about that one
Yeah.
on the right? Yeah, that one. That's good. And
there you go.
There we go. So, but this is for the action game. I guess you might as well.
Fuck, yeah, we need to go to the generals.
You need to actually go to the generals part.
Here we go.
I'm waiting for the. I'm looking at the chat now. I was like,
yeah. Let's see.
Have they been paying attention?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see where this. Are we running?
Just near the map. The map is kind of like a little bit.
Actually, I'm going to have to say this is our test server. Obviously, this is not the public server. So we are playing against some of the QA guys and people from inside the company now. That's why the map is not completely covered with the captured battlefields. We just reset the war just before this. We can see. I need to deploy a few. I need to deploy a few assault teams. Let's see. Recon. And I'm gonna go for. Here we go.
Shava.
And Pathfinders. Need to go. I'm gonna put everything in Warsaw. Shouldn't I? Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Moscow.
So, there's a few things that changed, that are going to change. Let's put it that way. They changed on our test server, on the campaign map. I guess if you zoom in, it's going to be easier to really see the.
I'm just going to start moving some assault teams in.
So, it's not just suddenly we have the Soviet Union it's also that the cities are no longer represented with their access points on the map. It's easier to read, at least, I find.
Yeah, actually, we have changed a little bit on the way skirmishes are triggered. They're not access point skirmishes anymore. They are actually triggered on the supply line. So if two opposing forces clash on the supply line, we trigger the skirmish. And we have brought back the good old retreat functionality again. So you can actually you can retreat from a battle now, which is obviously the way it works is that you're gonna have to leave some soldiers behind when you retreat, and that's obviously that makes it a sort of like a hard choice for the generals. If they want to get out of the fight, they have to leave something behind.
Would that be actually? We never discussed it before. Now the retreat thing, would it be something that affects the action game too, or only the campaign?
Yes, it actually does, because it redraws resources from the action game, but it has to leave something behind. But otherwise, the game would just end for the action players. That's not fun. So I'm not sure about the exact number. I think it's about 20% or something of your, or maybe it's a fixed number. I can't really remember. We changed that a couple of times. So, you have to leave some men and some tanks and stuff behind in order for you to retreat.
So you can exploit that musically. If you can't just be a half-assed general that doesn't really want to.
No. Obviously, the whole retreat functionality is linked to another feature, which is not gonna unfortunately happen before the next build. After that, so the U build, right? So we probably should not discuss that too much, but it has to do with a broader update to the strategy game, where resources become much more valuable, and as a general, it's clever to not let your assault team get destroyed. It's better to retreat, regroup, and reinforce, and then attack again, rather than just getting wiped out all the time. We're gonna put some penalties on the redeployment and stuff like that. So to make sure that generals don't just redeploy all the time. So they have to. We're changing it so they have to think a little bit more about what they do.
So we got, how far east does it go? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering.
Oh yeah. I had the nice task of adding something like, let's see if we can show it here. Is it? Can people see this stuff? Yeah. I've added over 1,000 new battlefields to the campaign map. It's now we have a little more than 3,000 battlefields in total. That's a lot, yeah. And it goes all the way up here. We have all the way up to St. Petersburg, which at that time was called Leningrad. There you go. And all the way down to obviously Moscow. It's here. And we have all the way down south here to Istanbul and Sevastopol.
But the obvious destination. But
good night.
People are. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be asking right now, aren't they?
Oh, let's
see how much time it takes. Wait for it. But there's a 10-second delay. So,
oh my god, yeah, but it took a long time to add all those goddamn battlefiels. I think it was like two really long work days were from like 10 hours work were just like click, going insane at the end. But I think it's obviously this will be the first iteration of the map layout, and we probably are gonna make some adjustments because it's we really haven't seen the entire map play out yet on live, so that's gonna be very, very exciting once that happens. Where did all my other...
So no, they're still not asking about Stalingrad.
No. Where are all my other... oh, they have... Let's see. Let's go.
So, actually, there is a question from our friend Wilhelm here. Will there be a diplomacy system introduced?
Not right away. The diplomacy is obviously something that's thought into the whole idea of multiple factions. But actually, we kind of like the idea that we just facilitated diplomacy with simple stuff like player communication, because diplomacy has a lot to do also with the fact that do you trust the enemy? Do you trust the one that are suddenly your allies? And do your allies have enough control of their own people to be able to not attack you or not break out and all that stuff? So there's a lot of really interesting scenarios in this whole idea that is not based on hard game rules, but more like on human psychology and human behavior, which I find enormously interesting. So because we actually like to keep it as open as possible. I don't right now. First off, on the bat, it's going to be really, really hard for the top players to effectively communicate with each other and make plans of if two factions want to gang up on for example, the two smaller factions want to gang up on the larger one to pressure them, they need to get in touch with the other players playing on the other factions and sort of like agree that on what they are going to do, and that's going to be hard because they cannot control all the other players. So it is a lot about organizing and making sure that everybody on your team follows the same battle plan. But as in real war, it's really, really that's a complex scenario, and I obviously hope that it's something that really excites the clan guys, because it's so like that's where they. Sorry?
They want to see more of the map.
Right. Gonna zoom
if you can zoom out a little bit. But people are asking about why isn't Stalingrad on the map?
It's because the map isn't big enough. I'm working on a map update where we're gonna shift it and stuff like that. So it's gonna be in at some point.
But that's because it's the same background image that you had from the beginning, right?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, I would love to have the Stalingrad part as well. As we talked about today, maybe we should just introduce it together with city battles then. I'm just promising everything now. No,
but that's something you want to do, so yeah, it's.
Let's see. Actually, we have another thing here. We can, if you see, we have our traditional blue versus red, where obviously you're blue and the two other factions are red, which means that you fight against the two others.
Now you might want to zoom in again, because that's hard to see for now.
But you can see it on the
you can see it now.
On the stars up here.
Yeah.
We have this little button up here in the corner with the 3 dots. If you press that one, the map switches to individual colors for each faction, so you can see where they're actually situated. And you can see here they're actually starting to clash around here, which is that Berlin we are looking at. Here we have Berlin. Yes, you see that the Americans have reached Berlin here, and obviously the Germans are in Berlin, and the Soviets are just on the other side. The interesting part here is that Americans and Russians, or Americans and the Soviet Union in this instance, are not allies. They're enemies as well. So you will have battles where they actually fight each other as well. And we also have three-way battles now. There will be not very often in the war. We have obviously set some up in the matched battles that can be triggered. But in the war they will happen, but not very often. And we have some rules for how to conduct those battles.
I think we'll get more into that in like one of the coming weeks.
Yeah,
I guess we should, because it's its own thing.
I should just mention
it in passing.
Be asking about what are you going to do with the three? But yeah, we are going to allow all three factions in the same battle, and they all fight each other. It's just not going to be happening that often.
And what about the winning conditions?
I will show you here. You can see. Yeah, the winning conditions are very simple. Before we had 15 major cities, and we have added some more. So now we have 23 major cities, and the first faction to capture 12 wins the war. The reason for this is that then we don't really need to worry about what happens when a faction gets knocked out of the war, because it's impossible to reach to knock out another faction without reaching 12 capitals. So that's the reason for this system. We have been thinking about adding more winning condition at some point, but so far this is just the simple rules that control the 12 capitals and you win. It's pretty simple.
So and
we changed the starting conditions as well. I would say the British start out with, or the British, I call it British, the Americans. Sorry, the Americans starting out with London and Oslo. Before they had all of Edinburgh and Liverpool, we actually moved that up because we are trying to do the first layout with all three factions having almost like in a triangle, so they all face each other, rather than having a parallel one where Germans getting squashed in the middle. So that's why we sort of like brought the Oslo into play here.
The Soviets start in Istanbul.
Germans, they start obviously in Berlin and Rome, as they usually do. And let's see if I can remember correctly. The Soviets starts in Moscow, and I think it's St. Petersburg or Leningrad, I think.
So in the south there's just like...
Yeah, they need to rush to the south to capture. And obviously, again, we try to make the attack lines sort of like follow the natural landscape, like the rivers. And there's very few crossings of rivers. And
you're in Transylvania.
Yeah, the mountains you have to follow these little routes.
That's Transylvania, isn't it? I think that area you're hovering about. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. There's good old Dracula here.
Yeah, right.
So, yes, it's as you see, there's lots and lots of.
It's kind of mind-boggling that there's 1,000. But I had a question actually the other day. I played a game late night. I had a guy. I don't know if he's in the chat today on the German faction Chemie, as in chemistry.
Yeah.
He was asking me, can I get a copy of that map so I can make lay out plans for my troops.
Actually, I could publish. It's actually.
Is it something that could be exported? Because
It actually has a pretty simple system for extracting the data from our CDN. Obviously, the bitmaps are loaded from a web server, and so it's just about getting the right URL, and you can download the images. But you could also just put them up so people can download them if they want to.
The way I understand it, it's the cities are not on any kind of graphics file, right? They're just coordinates in a database.
That's just coordinate. But again, I would imagine clever players could easily find that and extract that data if they wanted to. It's just static data. But we could actually put it up for people to download if they want to.
I think they would.
Yeah, it's nothing.
I've had a few requests. I mean, it's not the most common request, but I mean, I can see why people would want to have that.
You should remember that because then I think one of the server coders could probably just assemble some of that code or that data and just stick it in zip file somewhere and just download it, do whatever they would like with it. I'd say. One of the people
are fantasizing about alternate history.
Yeah, we're not. I think we said this 1,000 times that we're not trying to make a game that sort of like replays history. We are more like have a game where we think the time period is super interesting, has some really nice balance between the machines and the war and the people and we just use it as a setting for whatever scenario the players want to play out. So that's why we have the 3 factions instead of 2, where all 3 are actually enemies. That poses some really interesting scenarios. I'm really looking forward to see how long the war will last now, because in theory it should last a lot longer, because it takes a lot more to actually win now, because if one faction is winning, he suddenly faces 2 enemies rather than 1. Hopefully it's also something that should make the watching the war a bit more interesting, because you would see front lines in weird places now. It wouldn't be just a stale World War II style front line we've been used to. So we've great hopes for this. It's going to be very, very big update for the games. Yeah, I believe it's going to be like a game changer for the whole strategy game now.
And I guess some people are wondering if you kind of at first will kind of make sure that people join the Soviet faction somehow.
I would be puzzled if they didn't.
Right.
You will obviously get one Soviet soldier to start with. Everybody gets that. In the open faction selection, you have now 3 soldiers. If you're a new player, you get 3 infantry, 1 for each faction. So everybody, once the new build is up, will have at least one infantry.
So you get started and you get to try stuff. So I guess at first, it's true. At first, you'll play the stage battles until you unlock enough stuff that you want to kind of join the campaign.
Yeah.
So for example, I guess we can show these guys now.
That's the
Red Army general.
Yeah.
I guess we can. Oh, and I just noticed that he's got a very fancy name there, Bogdan Klebnikov.
Yeah, it's our name generator. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because the other day Ask was like, "Do you know any Russian names?" So I went and Googled all the possible.
Actually, I think I actually came up. I don't think they actually used that, but what I would do is, if I was asked to come up with names, I would actually take on Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure that's a list of all the soldiers that received the highest orders.
Yeah. So you mix and match.
I would just take all those names and then separate them, because I know they will have names that were typical for the time.
That's true.
So. And you could be lucky to get like a real hero's name.
I think you got you got trolled there. You got one of your characters called Splixon Rules.
Oh fuck! Yeah, but he has to he has to compensate in some ways, right? Oh yeah. Oh, what is this stuff? Something new?
Oh yeah, that. Yeah.
We're gonna show that next
let's
time.
not look at that.
Next time.
But I guess
It's all about the Russians.
Soviets.
Soviet. Sorry.
We should have a like a bank with a quarter in every time.
Oh yeah.
And so I guess we can. People are like, show us stuff, but
we will take
show
one thing at a time.
One thing
Today
at a time,
it's all about the overall campaign game and the decisions behind it, the new design, 3 faction battles. So
I'm trying to think. Without getting into details, what else can we?
We can take a lot of questions. We
can take questions actually, but nothing too specific.
No, just go ahead. We might just not answer it. Haha.
Yeah. If it's too specific, we're gonna go over everything.
Oh, if it's too specific, I'm just gonna answer it in Danish instead. Yeah.
Så har vi en aftale.
Ja, det er bare godt.
Ja, det er en aftale.
Jeg håber, de kan forstå det. Frem med båndoptagerne, så kan vi så høre og se, om de kan finde ud af, hvad vi siger. Det tror jeg ikke, de kan. Jeg mumler bare rigtig meget på dansk, så bliver det endnu mere at forstå.
You said it.
Oh yeah.
No, we'll go over all the various weapons, vehicles, characters, etc. gradually, so that we instead of just rushing through the whole thing. Because this is not coming next week. This is not coming in 2 weeks.
No, we have some time. It's fortunately it's close enough for us to start talking about it. It's been pretty annoying that we couldn't really talk so much about it. Obviously, I would love to talk about all the stuff that we haven't done yet, but I'm constantly getting told that people expect it to be in the next build if I say stuff that's not really in the close future. But hey. That's what. Yeah.
But I guess regarding diplomacy, I think we should mention that the in-game messaging works with the mail.
Yeah.
You could totally have a running. If you're a general, you could friend one of the generals on the enemy faction and have a running correspondence with him.
Yeah.
And basically make offers through the mail system and say,
The idea is actually that we have some sort of a very open system for diplomacy. We might have some, but I just can't really figure out how to come up with a really good system for the diplomacy, like allied on-off switch. Who is in control of that switch? I find it a lot more that everybody just sort of signs an agreement that yes, we're going to honor this alliance we have right now until somebody breaks it, and can I trust the other guys and all that stuff. So it's much more into psychology.
And of course, if on a faction, there's a group of generals, and there's one who's like a rogue general who doesn't listen and goes, I'm going to attack anyway. But
actually, obviously, we take one step at a time with developing the campaign game. One thing that's not in the game yet, but is coming as part of the whole famous legendary command structure that we haven't sometimes touched upon, is the control of resources. So whereas you have a command with other generals, and you are able to pool resources, and obviously a way to punish players that does not follow your agreements would be to just deprive them of resources.
Just saw that on the chat. In Soviet Russia, Celine Dion listens to you. It's awesome. Well played.
Send them a t-shirt.
Unfortunately, it's one of ours who said that. He can go get his own t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, what else can we say without getting into details about three faction fighting? Because otherwise, I think we might as well jump into questions.
I think we should just go for... usually, the question stuff goes pretty well. People have lots and lots of questions. So.
They do. It's more the answers that I'm worried about.
No, that's fine. It's okay. This is the first time we.
Oh, okay. No, but I think Robotron has a request here. He says, "Explain three faction fighting, all caps. Because as in like recap, like how a faction can be knocked out of the game.
Okay.
Or can it be?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. There are 23 capitals or
major
cities
right.
that you can capture, and the first faction that reaches 12 wins the war. If you sit down and try to do the math, you would find out that you cannot have you cannot have once one of the factions is down to 0. Any one of the other two would have at least 12.
Aha. So you can't knock out a faction.
You cannot knock out a faction. That's not impossible.
So if you play the camping, you will always at least get the opportunity to fight.
Yeah. And that's why we did the system. It's because it's so easy. If you can take the example that there's one faction that has one major city, and the two others that they would have, because they're 23, they would have 11 each. They could either one of the guys with one of the factions with 11 major cities, they can either take one city from the other guy that has 11 cities, or they can take the one from the one that has 1. He goes to 0, he goes to 12, wins the war. So it's not possible.
So
and that's why it's a simple system. So that's and it's also it's cool because the little guy plays a huge role suddenly. The little guy it's really important for one of the other factions to always be in an alliance with the little guy, because he's going to play the
decising
exactly.
decisive factor.
It's not just he will be powerful.
And because I see people in the chat saying like, oh, if the Soviets team up with the Americans, the Germans will be wiped out. It's like,
no, but
not in this scenario.
No, because we have to find a winner. So it's I think it's and as soon as one gets too close to 12, I would get that the others.
Why should we be allies anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
there's a lot of backstabbing going on. So it's not easy when you think about it. I think it's really interesting to see how this plays out. We could have the first few wars being really simple. People just run over each other until they realize that, hey, you can win by being smart, or you can go on and have war that just lasts forever.
It reminds me last time I played Game of Thrones. That was kind of like that. I was the Lannisters or something.
Yeah.
Ever played that one? The board game?
I never played that.
So some of the factions start with like a tiny little bit, and the Starks start out in the north with everything. It's just they just have to rush to all the neighboring cities. They don't meet any resistance.
Yeah.
Little guys have to kind of agree. Okay, I don't hit you, you don't hit me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, otherwise you're in trouble.
So we are gonna
same thing really.
Through the next time, we are going to add more and more complexity to the strategy game, but I don't think it needs much more complexity. Obviously, we need some more done on the resource part, so the resources play a more valuable role. You fight over the resources. You have the resources, and you can give them to other players and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the long-term goals with the strategy game. But a major milestone here is the addition of a third faction, which turns the game into a multiple faction game, rather than the dual faction. It definitely fundamentally changes the gameplay.
I'm trying to. There is a parallel discussion going on the chat here. Rodgod the Bloated is saying, but in his mind, it would be possible to knock out a faction if there's some neutral cities. So like if some of the cities are not taken at all.
Yeah, that's a scenario that we do not expect to happen. But it can happen. We have a fallback mechanism for that as well. So if that should happen, the faction with the most capitals wins.
Okay.
It. So it's a fallback mechanism. It's not part of the rules. That would only happen if
there's enough people playing, basically.
Yeah. If one faction just goes straight and tries to knock out another faction, but it would take a huge risk, because they would like. They would have to throw all the resources at one faction, while the other one would just grab a lot of major cities.
I believe the term you're looking for is Zerg Rush.
Probably,
like
but because if one faction does that,
I think
the other one would just capture enough major cities to win the game. So there wouldn't actually be any purpose of doing it. But it's correct that there is a a scenario where we could end up having one being knocked out before the other ones actually capture.
But so that means you would just have like a massive onslaught of everything in one direction.
I'm pretty annoyed that we're not going to emphasize say to people they should try it, because
No, they will.
it's going to be difficult for them to. But maybe it's going to happen a few times in the beginning. Once the Soviet starts to gain enough momentum, enough players, I don't think it will ever happen again. But then again, I might be jinxing stuff. They might be taking me up on the challenge and try and do it constantly. We have some.
It would really suck if somebody tried that.
Yeah, well, let's try it.
Don't do it.
Have you other more questions?
More questions.
More questions
that are not directly related to that. Let me see. Will there be a Japanese faction?
Hopefully at some point. Well, you could say the.
Did they have paratroopers? I think I asked you last time.
The
Japanese. I was wondering at some point, would you have the same character types? That's.
Kites.
Kites.
Yeah. As far as it's possible. Obviously, at some point, if you're going to introduce the Danish army into the game, we didn't have many paratroopers. We didn't even have armor. I think we didn't have anything else than just riflemen. So at some point, we can't honor all the different classes. Obviously,
the Danish mountaineers.
Yeah, but it's good. There's plenty of stuff to put into the game. Obviously, the great vision of the end game is obviously to have the whole world in the game. So we have a long development time in front of us still. We can keep developing the game. So hopefully the players will be in on our journey.
And people are asking actually that's. I mean, I kind of know the answer to that one, but what about the Yugoslavian Partisan and the French resistance and all that?
We have talked a lot about the resistance, how to incorporate the resistance, because there was obviously resistance everywhere. Haven't really laid something down in concrete yet, but there's a lot of ideas of how to incorporate the resistance. Obviously, there's the good old one of the game modes we talked about in the beginning of designing the game would be to, for example, rescue the downed pilot game mode, where one player would be a downed pilot standing in the middle of a French field. You had the resistance that would have the goal of getting to the pilot before the German Gestapo or whatever the Germans would get to and capture the pilot. Once the resistance gets to the pilot, they'll change his clothes so he's looking like an ordinary civilian. And from there on, they have to get him to a safe house, a barn or something.
Using the civilian truck.
Yes, it's all like a variation of the VIP mission, from the Counter-Strike. And the tricky part should be, or the clever part would be that he disguises himself as a civilian. We would introduce really, really crude bots that would just be very bot-ish to look at. And the player playing the either the resistance or the down pilot should be able to switch on play my character as a bot mode. And the trick for the Germans would be to question each of the civilians. You walk up to them and say, "Show me your papers." And if you're a real human player, you would go, "Oh!" and he can shoot you. And if the Germans just shoot, Germans shoot a civilian a bot,
game over.
It's game over. So they have to get close to him, and the human players would have to play bots. And just when Germans don't look, they can play like themselves, see if they can get to the safe house. It's actually, I think it could be it's very different from the game modes we have now, but it could be something that we could. It would at least facilitate the partisans or the freedom fighters role or the resistance roles.
Because they can't really exist as a faction.
Not really, no. It's more like you have some characters that maybe you can always play them. I don't know. Maybe
how about you make them so you can play them in the stage battles, but not in a campaign or something? You join them as like non-faction characters or something.
I think it would be cool to have this linked battle system where for example, you have an air battle, your pilot gets shot down, and if you get shot down enough times, your soldier is sort of like, now he's shot down over enemy territory and he has to fight his way back. If he's captured by the Germans, then he's put into a prison, and you would have to another mission where some of your friends would have to come in and try and rescue you from the prison. So we could have several different game modes that were linked together by the outcome of the missions, but it might be too much work for very little effect.
It's unless you can probably fit that into a map that already exists and all that.
Yeah, I think we should do the interdiction missions before we do this one, though.
A request here to show the basically the two color modes, the two different views we have.
Yeah, I will show up here.
Because right now the way it is right now is friendly is blue, enemy is red, and we don't know which enemy it is. And
the only thing you have to worry about, red is bad.
Red is bad. Yeah.
If you switch up here, you would see that you get the faction colors, where the Americans are the green ones, the Germans are the purple ones, and the Russians, the Soviet, are the brown ones. Obviously, the colors here are not completely great because they haven't been checked.
They kind of blend in with the map. Yeah.
Still in test this
but
stuff. So.
Apparently, they've been picked because they were distinguishable even if you're colorblind.
Yeah, I think the brown one at least is very very much disappearing in the.
But if you zoom in, it's not so bad.
No, it's better.
It's better. But then again, we talked about it yesterday. It's a tough decision to pick colors because
right now you can see the fog of war seems like it's actually dimming down the colors, so it's subduing the difference even more.
Can you show an area where the fog of war is you can see through it, like around your units there? Yeah. So that the colors are a little bit less dark, but. Thing is, yellow can't be taken because yellow is the player.
Yeah, that's
red and blue are friendly and enemy. Yeah, so then you have, But I guess eventually that can be adjusted so that it's a little bit less camouflaged.
As long as you can do the switch. So
I guess it's still practical to be able to say
these
guys are
the color modes for the different times of day has an effect on this as well. I think here it works better here.
Let's
see.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go to war. Get to the war.
So I'm gonna go and look for more questions if we.
Yeah. Keep them coming. This is going to be insane when all the real players start joining in. Right now the map is kind of dead because we only have a few players on it.
What? There's some really weird questions.
All right.
But there's one I just don't understand here.
Actually, I totally forgot when we start taking the questions. I am allowed to
yeah, you are totally allowed.
So I'm gonna.
It helps the answers come faster.
Yeah.
So.
Zdrovia.
Na zdrowie. Yeah, that's not a question. When people say fix something, when will you fix it? No, I'm sorry, that's not what we're discussing today.
Wow.
Let me see. Again, some Panzer leader is asking, will we get the Panther tanks?
Oh, he asked that last time as well. I wish. But right now we have been focusing a little bit on doing a few Soviet tanks, though. Send a special request to Reto Wille. He will consider it. The cool thing about the Panzer tank actually had the infrared stuff on it as well, so that would be awesome to put in infrared sights.
Question from actually, wait a minute. How am I supposed to read that? DJ Lapio 93, little bro. Will you add more spawns? What does that mean?
I would assume it would be more players per battle.
More players per battle?
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Or more spawn points?
Huh? More spawn points.
Oh yeah, we have to actually. Can we show the area around Minsk? I think I'm not sure exactly what this had to do with anything.
Sorry, I need to.
Minsk is like way up there.
There we go.
This is Minsk.
This is Minsk.
And we have to kind of reveal the name of the build, don't we?
Oh yeah. Obviously, people guessed it.
Did they?
Isn't it? Yeah, I think that people. That some.
Did somebody guess?
Try and see.
Yeah,
people, can you write in the chat? What do you think the build is called?
Yeah.
It starts with a T.
Yeah,
and it's not Truman.
And it's not Truman. But I'm not sure how that is related. Because like Robotron said, like, hey, show Minsk. I'm like, okay. And then, yeah.
Sloboda.
So, does somebody actually?
Do they?
Yes. Well.
Yep.
Yep. Timoshenko.
Timoshenko.
So it's official.
Should we give him a prize for that?
He gets a smile. I think he got probably a
Timoshenko, named after one of the greatest heroes of the Soviet Union. Receiver of twice of the Hero of the Soviet Union medal. So he's badass. Was.
So what was I going to say about that? It's not related. No. Yeah, that's the thing is because Wilhelm is like, oh, I know. Yeah, but I think he got a leak. So
T equals the Russians faction. Oh, you're clever.
It's called Soviet. but I mean, there's a reason that we say Soviet. It's because it's the USSR.
Exactly. It is the Soviet.
It actually included parts of what are today other countries than Russia.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not the Russian faction. Although we do have we forgot to put on our special
put on our special
Red
hats.
Army hats.
Here we go. Yeah.
This is where actually looked up how to say. Was it again? If I say it correctly.
It's pretty straight. Do they have that small heads in
Moja Golova Slishkom Balshaya. My head is too big. That's what was it? Isn't it? Did I say it right? Yes. Oh yeah. So yes.
Nostrovia.
Zanash. So.
Any more questions? I think we have 5 minutes left.
We do.
We keep them coming. Keep them coming.
I remember now what we forgot.
Okay. That's great.
That we have to show the winners of the Battle Vision contest because we didn't do that last week.
All right.
So that's a contest that's going on Steam. I'm sure I look really smart with my hat right now. That Westwick, one of our very busy community members, is organizing. So these are the winners from January 17th, and the theme was armor. And here we have I guess the three winners. We can show Mage Bus, Mexican Standoff. Let's have a look at that. That's
awesome. Great.
So really
How do they do that? How do you coordinate doing all this stuff?
Well, now that you have open faction fighting, I guess they just had an entire clan join
one match fight,
one staged battle, and most likely.
That's great. That's great, guys.
Mexican standoff.
I love it.
And next one was Shadow, a bridge too short. Because
killing, wounding, killing.
Ouch.
That's a great shot.
That's a great shot indeed.
Yeah.
Good job. And apparently there's one of the pictures was a member of the TAW clan, so that would explain. They're actually very active.
Yeah.
These guys. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and let's see. The next one was Bob the what?
Was it Bob? Let's see.
Bob the Dino.
Bob the Dino.
Battlefield Beauty.
Bob the Dino. Yeah. There you go. Nice shot.
Nice shot.
Looking into the sun.
I like the lens thing.
Yeah.
The wet lens. Oh, speaking of, I guess we can tease some of the stuff we're going to talk about next week. We had our screenshots, down there. In your,
this one?
No, not in the browser. In the
this
picture
one.
viewer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go.
Some of that, and but the other
Should
one.
we let them screen grab it and look at the image? See what they can come up with here.
What's going on there?
What is hidden in this image? Come on, guys, screen grab.
So, and this one, just full screen it.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. So, can you name this tank?
Yeah, and obviously, I unfortunately showed a bit of this before.
Yeah, that was leaked a while ago. The one is actually, it looks really cool.
It's an
Can we
awesome.
show it again?
It has some really nice bomb racks inside, like 4 tubes of with the bombs in it.
But not with the cockpit closed. Can you still see it?
The bombs?
Yeah.
Yes, because it's transparent, so you obviously can. Yeah.
Because I don't think I've. I know. When I tried to play with it, you couldn't see through the glass. There was a bug
the
with
shadow
it.
is not.
The shadow's over it.
Yeah, the shadow's on top of it. That's a bit weird. Oh.
We'll fix that. We'll fix that in post.
Yeah. We'll fix it in post.
So, but I have to say about the if we go back to Battle Vision, that there's no way this looks good, but there's another one coming. That one. Now there's a new contest ongoing right now called Behind Enemy Lines. Still the same prize, 2,000 gold. And what is it? So that's it. You just have to be behind enemy lines in your screenshot, whatever you take that to mean.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends. Is it still going until 7 p.m. Central European Time on the 17th of February? So that's the screenshot contest. Let's see if I guess we can gradually head towards a conclusion for this week. Actually, I see. There's what's his name? Elite Tutorial Lucas reformulated his question that I didn't understand the first time.
Yeah.
He was saying, are there actually maps for the Pacific Theater of Operations?
Not yet.
Not yet, right?
No.
Because it was confusing because he said, like, for example, the airborne assault on Crete, but Crete is like not.
That's
not the Pacific by a long shot.
That's the Mediterranean, yeah.
So, but not yet.
But as I said before, we the plan is to just keep expanding until we die of old age, I guess. We're just going to continue doing this forever.
So, I guess we can, call it a quick recap. So this today, if you just walked in, we've been talking about the Chinese faction, and
it's going to be Chiang Kai-shek. It's coming up.
Yeah. And we basically have been taking some questions about it, and we did also a quick discussion about combat badges. Especially the ones related to recon soldiers. So if you missed this episode, we are going to upload it on Twitch after this, and also on YouTube. And you can follow us on Twitch to keep track of what we are talking about Friday afternoons. We're going to wish you a very nice weekend.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching and for playing.
Thank you for you stole my line.
Well, sorry. We have to trade it up. So.
Thank you for guessing what the next faction was.
Yes. There you go. See you soon on the battlefield. Na zdrowie.
Bye bye.